So it's been a while since I went live, and I want to get back into doing this. I really like doing lives, and I think it's a great way to interact, answer questions, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to start doing them more. I have a new little setup to hold up my phone while I do this. So if there's any odd angles or anything that looks a little funky, let me know because I can work on adjusting this. It's just going to take me some time to get used to, but I'm happy enough with it for now. If you haven't been on my channel in a while, you might recognize that I'm in a new location. I moved, so new room, all that. And let me tell you what today's live is going to be all about. I wanted to talk through what a writer's room is, how it works, who's in the room, all of that kind of stuff, just to kind of give you a better idea of what it's like to work as a TV writer, what that kind of process is. Because when I started, realizing I wanted to write scripts, realizing, oh, I want to do TV specifically, I had no idea how the actual career worked, how a writer's room worked, how shows got written. So it was a little tricky. I felt a little insecure about it. So I want to go through everything I've learned in that time to hopefully make it a little, less mystifying and help it make a bit more sense. Now, if you've never been on my channel, I just want to introduce myself and who I am to be talking on this. I am an aspiring TV writer, and I document my journey into the entertainment industry and to Hollywood here on my YouTube channel, and just what I'm learning, what I'm doing, how I'm making this work for me, and what I've learned about story and storytelling. So, that was my mom almost coming in my room. That's what that was. But she saw I have a little sign. It says recording process. That's what I'm doing. Recording's in process. Anyway, let's start by looking at who is in a writer's room. We're gonna go from the bottom up. I might not hit on every single job that can be in a writer's room, but if you want to see more detail and see exactly what each of those jobs is, what the role is, I have a video breaking down everybody in a writer's room. So if you want more information, you can see all of that there. I went into a lot more detail. Now, the bottom ring of a writer's room, now, let's be really clear, it is not by level of importance. People, assistants, and support staff in a writer's room do incredibly important work. Shows would not happen without support staff and assistant level staff. So let's just make that clear. Anyway, there are a few different, not there are different, there are a few different types of assistants and support staff in a writer's room. So one type of assistant is the writer's PA, so the writer's production assistant. That's looking more into like the production side of things and how writing, producing get kind of where they join. Then you just have the writer's assistant. They're more in the room and assisting with things in the room. So a lot of times the writers will all be together. They're talking through ideas, developing ideas, spitballing ideas. They're just working through some ideas, working through the beats of the episodes, the beats of the season, the show, all of that. And so a lot of times the writer's assistant will be taking notes on all of that so they can just focus on the story rather than trying to work out all the little details and making it stay for later and all that. You also have the script coordinator, and they do a lot of work with production as well. And I think, the showrunner can also have their own assistant. That's like a little bit separate. That's more being an assistant to the direct. And it goes up from there. There are story editors, executive story editors, co-executive producer. There's a couple more in there that I'm missing. Generally, the idea is that you start as a staff writer. I'm good, how are you? You start as a staff writer and you work your way up through, and that's kind of like the ladder of it. As you go higher up, there's more responsibilities, higher pay. As a staff writer, you're not guaranteed to get an episode to write for the show that you're on, but as you get higher up, you are guaranteed to get to write at least one episode. So that's that stuff. Then the creative director of a writer's room and a show is the executive producer or the showrunner. So a lot of times on a show in the credits, you'll see executive producer Shonda Rhimes. The executive producer is just kind of the title they use for the credits, but that's the showrunner. They are literally running the show. And everything comes back to them. Sometimes you will have more than one. So you can have writing partners, you can have just two people who are show running a show, just depends. But whoever's the showrunner or showrunners, it all comes back to them. It's their creative direction. The writers in the room other than them are writing towards their vision, and that is what that is. So that's the people in the room. Now, how does it actually work? Like I said, you're not guaranteed to get an episode that you write for the show until you get to a certain level. I believe it's just after support staff, but I could be misremembering something. And the writers kind of get together, they break the story, they break the season, they figure out how everything's going to work, and then different writers will be assigned an episode to write. Now, sometimes in really great rooms, the showrunners will also try to help the support staff learn and kind of come more onto that so they can move forward in their career and move on to the next level. But that's not a guarantee. It's just if you can get a great showrunner who creates that environment. I mean, I've even heard of showrunners having support staff get an episode so that person can, again, get a credit and move along in their career and move up into the actual writing staff. Then everything goes through to the showrunner, and they are going to be the one reviewing all the scripts. Different showrunners are going to have different ways that they want to handle that, but it gets through to the showrunner and then it'll start to go into production. Different shows are going to have different production styles. Sometimes they're writing the episode, it's going to set, and it'll be kind of like on that basis where it's all kind of moving at the same time. A lot of shows used to have the writer of the episode on set when it was filming. It's kind of not happened as much recently, which is one of the points that has the WGA on strike right now. It's really important for writers to be able to get on set and be able to make it to show running. You need to be able to understand how to be on set and how all of that works. So it's really important. I also did a video about the WGA strike and all of the requests that the WGA made, how the AMPTP responded. So again, if you want more information on that, I would definitely watch that video. And so many people have done amazing videos talking about the strike. So there's a lot of content on that out there. And it's a very collaborative environment. There's a lot of kind of working together. And then again, you can be a co-writing kind of partnership, but each writer, or again, if it's partnership, each partnership will be given the episodes that they're going to write by themselves. So it's not where you're writing the actual episodes all together, but you're all figuring out the story together. And again, the showrunner gets that final say. If the writers are talking about different ideas for how a storyline can go, it's going to be up to the showrunner at the end of the day to decide what they think is going to be best for the show, because really it is their show. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between what it's like to work on TV versus features, because yes, you're a screenwriter in both scenarios, but they're different kind of, not necessarily career paths, so that is true. It's more that it's different day to day and how the career works. So like I said, being a TV writer is very collaborative. There's a writer's room, there's a showrunner at the head of it, there's production, and you're going and all this stuff, that all kind of works in its own way, and it's a long term, it's through the whole season, all of that. But with features, you tend to work more on your own doing the actual writing. I am going into TV writing. I would be open to writing features, but TV is definitely where I'm focusing my energy for now, and it's where I'd like to be long term. So with features, a lot of times you are hired to write a feature, and then you write a draft or you write different pieces, and you're going back and forth with the studio or the production company to move forward with it. Again, there have been a lot of issues on that side of things that, again, have also led to the strike. Watch my WGA strike video if you want to, again, get the details of that, because there's a lot that has become issues and made writing not continue to be a sustainable career for people to have. I wish I could collaborate on a TV show with you, but I don't have the resources really right now to be doing anything with a TV show. Right now, I'm focusing on bettering myself as a writer, starting to get work in this industry, and figure out how I can break in myself. And I think the most important thing to start with that is just keep writing, keep getting better, and make writer friends, join writer groups, and things like that. And features tend to focus more of the creative direction on the director, whereas, like I said earlier, there is some machines and stuff outside. I apologize if you could hear that. With TV, like I said, showrunners tend to have that kind of creative control. With movies, you see that with directors, and that's why a lot of times when we're talking about movies, it's, this is I'm gonna blank on every director in the entire world. This is a Greta Gerwig, right? That's who you're really focusing on, less than who wrote the script. With TV, there's Shondaland, because it's about Shonda Rhimes. She's the creative control, and it all kind of comes back to her. So that's kind of just a few points of the differences there. Neither is right or wrong. Both can be great. It just kind of depends on what you want to be doing, what you want your career to look like, the kind of writing you prefer, and all of that. And that is what a writer's room is like. If anybody has any questions, let me know in the comments, because I definitely want to take the opportunity to answer anything before I hop off. So somebody asked for some movie ideas or synopsis. I don't really do that. I come up with ideas for scripts that I'm going to write myself. Though I did post 2 videos, one talking about how to generate ideas for stories and come up with them, and then a second one, how to develop those ideas into stories that you can write. So if you're struggling to come up with ideas about stories and you don't quite know what you want to write, you just know you want to write, watch those 2 videos, because that might help you start to come up with some ideas and turn them into something real and something you're excited to write and work on. Okay. Anybody else have any questions before I jump off? I just want to make sure that I give everybody an opportunity to say anything that they want to say. Oh, jeez. Okay. Megan, you know technology. Let's pull it together. Okay, well, I'm going to... Oh, you got a question? Looks like we might have one more question before I leave. Okay. While I wait for those questions to come through, I am also doing more filming. I post every week on my YouTube channel, so if there are specific kind of topics or questions that you would like a full video on, make sure to leave them in the comment section so I can kind of organize them and create an entire video around them, because I'm always trying to make sure that the content that I post is helpful to my audience, that it's content that they want to see. I think that so the question is, which one is harder to write, a feature or TV show? I don't think that one or the other is necessarily easier or harder to write. I think it depends on the writer. To me, writing TV is much easier than writing a feature. But to somebody who prefers to write features, they might say the opposite. I think it all depends on what kind of writing you like to do, what kind of stories you like to tell, and what kind of format just works better for you. I don't think that there's a distinct difference on that kind of a level. The next question is, what made you become a screenwriter? I spent most of my life thinking that I wanted to write novels. I love reading, I love books, and pretty much as soon as I figured out that you could write as a career, I was set. And for my English degree in college, you had to take different writing workshops, and one of the options was a screenwriting writer workshop. And I was like, you know what? I love TV, I love movies. Why not see that side of it? Why not see how these things that I love get made? And I literally think I made it like 3 weeks into the class before I was like, okay, yeah, I'm changing my career path. So still a writer, but in a different space. And I also posted a video about what that whole process was like for me, and switching like something I'd been so set on for so long, and how I made that transition, and what just the emotions were, and how I knew that I was doing the right thing. So again, if you want more detail on that, I have a video on it. Okay, any other questions? Let me just make sure I'm not missing any. So I've another question about giving movie ideas. Again, I don't really do that. I come up with the ideas I come up with are for my own stories that I'm going to write. But again, I do have those 2 videos about generating ideas and then how to develop them so you can write full stories about that. So if coming up with ideas for your own scripts is something that you're struggling with right now, I definitely recommend giving those 2 a watch. I recently posted them, so they should not be too far back in my like video history. Again, I don't really have the resources to collab on a TV show. I'm not a studio, I'm not a production company, I'm just a writer trying to find my way into this industry. So there's not a lot for me to collab to do. Okay, well, I really enjoyed doing this again. I definitely want to do this some more. Again, if there are specific topics that you want me to cover for a live, or I mean, you can email me. My business email is in the description. If you have a business inquiry, you are welcome to send it, but I can't promise that it's going to be something that I can do. Oh, we've got one more question. So while I wait for that to come through, if there are specific topics that you want to see me do a live on or a YouTube video on, let me know. Tell me in the comments, and I will put those into my little folder. And the last question was, how do I feel about people using ChatGPT to write scripts? Right now, I'm not too nervous about it because I don't think ChatGPT can write a good script. But I think that it's important to have, I'm gonna forget the word, but to have protections on AI and ChatGPT, because while I don't think that ChatGPT is writing the next big blockbuster, I do think that there are a lot of ways it can be used to undermine writers, and again, to make writing not a sustainable career path. So I talked about that actually in my video about the WGA strike, because that is a big reason for the strike. So if you want more details about why writers are struggling with that, I would again watch that video. That one came up a lot today. But at this point, ChatGPT does not have the skills to be doing that. Do I think it could get there eventually? Maybe. But I also think that writing and storytelling is such a human thing. I don't know how well AI is ever going to be able to mimic that, though I could see companies just getting good enough out of ChatGPT and that becoming the stories we get. And I think that that's a bigger problem than whether or not ChatGPT can write scripts that we want to watch. I think it's more about whether companies are going to utilize that loophole to get things for cheaper and just put that out instead. So, food for thought. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed doing this, and I promise I'm gonna get better at doing it more. And again, if there's anything you want to see, let me know. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you again soon.